Welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box, episode 64, Winter Break Madness. Later than scheduled. It should have happened last week, but then I realised we were in the middle of a winter break, so there was no football for the last fortnight, and therefore there wouldn't have been an update this week. So last week's video moved to this week because I was busy last week, so you haven't actually lost out. But this is the Game Week 21 review. And in this week's edition, we have your Game Week 21 winners and losers. I have a quote of the week. Strictly speaking, two quotes, but it's the quote of the week. And a manager of the season update. 4 managers went into the transfer market during the mid-winter break. A couple, or at least one, taking advantage of the end of the actual transfer window where players have moved clubs. We already had 2 teams in the Family Fantasy Football League that are illegal as a result of players moving clubs in the summer transfer window. And neither of those managers have made a transfer all season, so those teams are still invalid, which is fine. Just means their first transfer, if either of them ever make one, needs to remove one of the players that's currently making the team invalid. And at the end of the winter break, a 3rd team became invalid, which means that manager has to transfer out one of those players that make his team invalid before he can make another transfer. So that was the exciting off-the-field action during the week. Congratulations to debut manager, better than the Diamonds, James Holmes, who took his first ever Manager of the Month title. So in his debut season, he's already won a tenner. He doesn't get it till the end of the season, but good stuff. And just goes to show that you can have success in your debut season. All the debut managers doing well this season, actually. So your Game Week 21 winners, take a bow. Never the Boys manager Jack Hoxby climbed a place in Game Week 21 up to 21st. And that's the highest that Jack has been since Game Week 15. For the second week running, take a bow. Legends 23 manager Nicky Saunders. Legends 23 climbed one place to 20th. And 20th is the highest that Nicky's been since Game Week 8. And take a bow. Arden Diamonds, the number 1 rated manager in the Family Fantasy Football League, stayed in 3rd place, but did achieve a 2nd weekly win of the season. So it's all going very well in the Holmes' house. The Game Week 21 losers, hide your head in shame, bruv. The Big Knobs manager Simon Hoxby fell 2 places to 22nd. Falling 2 places in a week where there was little movement meant that he was the biggest faller in Game Week 21. But 22nd is the lowest position that Simon has occupied in the league table since Game Week 1. It's been a while since he's been that low. Hide your head in shame. Also, Ted and Sam Jr.'s manager Ian Sands, pictured there on the right, he dropped a place to 16th, which is the lowest position he's been since Game Week 14. And hide your head in shame also, Sash Hammers FC manager Wayne Robinson, pictured there on the left. He fell a place to 13th, and 13th is the lowest position Wayne has occupied since Game Week 7. But the biggest loser of Game Week 21, hide your head in shame, Her Majesty's Secret Service manager George Irving, stayed 2nd from bottom in the table, but were the lowest scorers in Game Week 21 with just 3 points. So they are your Game Week 21 losers and your Game Week 21 winners. The winners all gained a Manager of the Season point. The losers, if they had a Manager of the Season point, lost one. Quote of the week came from the current league leader, Hatch United manager Neil Hatch, pictured there. He sent me this email. Hi Jeff, I just wanted to check what you've been smoking. As I've just seen the price you have put Diaz at. 3 million more than Salah? That's crazy. Well, It's midwinter madness, Neil. It might be crazy, but I think Diaz is going to be an absolute superstar for Liverpool, which is good for you because you're a Liverpool fan. And that's why I've made him the most expensive player in the Family Fantasy Football League. And then he followed that up after that explanation. So, Jeff, just another quickie. Had it not been for a near-death heart attack, would Ericsson have been 24 million instead of the 16 that he is? Neil, obviously not happy with my high price of Christian Eriksen, who just joined Brentford after his on-field cardiac arrest during the European Championships. He probably would have been 28 million had it not been for that near-death experience. But hey, the guy survived a heart attack and come back to play football. He's Superman, hence the expensive £16 million price tag for the midfielder, Neil. But your quotes made me laugh, made me smile, and so you have earned yourself a Manager of the Season point for the quote of the week. Well done, Neil. Now, this is the current Manager of the Season table. Simon Oxby lost a point, so he drops down to joint 8th. Steve Holmes solidifies his position in 4th with 9 points. Neil Hatch goes second, clear second, on 17 points, but it's still Megan Hoxby out in front on 20 points. And there was big points on offer in the who the fuck is that question last week. It was a 5-pointer. 5 current Family Fantasy Football League managers pictured there. But to get the 5 points, you had to get all 5 correct. Just 2 managers, you can probably guess who they are, just 2 managers had a guess this week. Hatch United manager Neil Hatch thought that pictured there, the 5 managers were Never the Boys manager Jack Hoxby, Linden's Lovely's manager Joe Hoxby, Chairman's Choice manager yours truly, Megan Hoxlade Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby, and Grease Lightning manager Alexi Lagos. I can tell you, Neil, that that's an incorrect answer, but I will tell you that 2 of those managers were correct. 2 of them, I'm not going to tell you which 2, but 2 of them were correct. And the other person to have a guess, Benny United manager Mark Benwell. He thought that pictured there was Linden's Lovely's manager Joe Hoxby, Never the Boys manager Jack Hoxby, Chairman's Choice manager yours truly, I've Got a Life manager Mops Hoxby, and Gobi Desert Canoe Club manager Pops Hoxby. I can tell you, Mark, that 2 of those guesses were also correct, but no points because you needed to get all 5. So we're rolling it over for another week, and I'm going to make this worth 6 Manager of the Season points. 6 Manager of the Season points. And I'm going to give you a little clue, just a tiny one, because there's actually 7 people pictured in that photo, believe it or not, but only 5 current Family Fantasy Football League managers. There are 2 previous Family Fantasy Football League managers, but the answer I'm looking for is for the 5 current Family Fantasy Football League managers. And just to give you a clue, here down the left-hand side is a face. There is a face of another manager there. There's the body of a manager there. The arm and body of another manager there. And the face of a 5th manager there. There is a leg and little bit of a body of a previous manager. You don't have to guess who they are. And there's a body of a previous manager here. So 5 managers pictured there. If you can tell me all 5, and you've had a little bit of a clue in the fact that we've had 2 answers and I've told you how many of those answers were correct. Just to go over it again, Neil thought it was Jack Hoxby, Joe Hoxby, myself, Megan Hoxby and Alexi Lagos. 2 of those 5 were correct. And Mark thought it was a picture of Joe Hoxby, Jack Hoxby, myself, Chris Hoxby, and Peter Hoxby. 2 of those guesses were correct. So that is it for this week. We are back next week because the football is back this weekend. It's the FA Cup 4th round this weekend, and there are some Premier League matches happening this week and during the course of next week. So there will be a Game Week 22 update next week, and therefore there will be a Banter in the Box. Remember, for the who the fuck is that question, you only get one guess per week. Until then, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.